Hello, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining us once again here on Talk and Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today, where we discuss the news and headlines courtesy of our friends of boxing247.com across the pond. And today we're going to start off with a couple of announcements. Franchon Cruz Dezurn and Elin Cederos have signed promotional deals with and Matchroom, and the super middleweight rulers will meet for the title in the spring, and that date and place is to be decided yet. WBC and WBO champion Cruz Dezurn, who's 7-1 with 2 knockouts, officially defends her straps for the first time after the first defense of her WBO and second of the WBC against Alejandra Jimenez in January 2020 was declared a no contest after Jimenez failed a drug test. Cruz Dezurn won the WBC crown in just her 5th pro fight in August 2018, edging out Marcela Cornejo, and added the vacant WBO strap in her first defense of the WBC belt when she rematched Cornejo 11 months later. IBF and WBA champion Cederos, who's 8-0 with 4 knockouts, is ranked #1 with Ring Magazine at 168 pounds, and the undefeated former pro soccer player turned elite fighter will be looking to add the Virginia Fighters belts to her straps and make it back-to-back wins over American fighters in her second fight in the U.S. The 36-year-old made her stateside bout against Alicia Napoleon Espinoza in Atlantic City in January 2020, crucially flooring the New Yorker in the second round on the way to find the IBF strap with Napoleon Espinoza's WBA title by 1 point on all 3 cards. Says Cruz Dezurn, "It's no party without the heavy-hitting diva. I've worked and earned everything I have. If Elaine or anyone else think they can think they will take shit from me, they truly have me mistaken. I really don't want to talk. I'm just going to bring that action to the main attraction and get everything I deserve. It's about legacy and survival, so I appreciate Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, and Peter Kahn for making this happen. It's my time to live up to my own expectations. I'm great." Elsewhere, we see that Split T Management has signed highly acclaimed amateur and 2-time national Golden Gloves champion Abel Gonzalez to a management contract. Gonzalez most recently won the 2021 National Golden Gloves in the ultra-competitive 178-pound weight division, taking home the award for most outstanding fighter of the tournament in the process. Gonzalez, out of Florida, will make his professional debut at super middleweight. He is trained by his father, Amath, a Cuban native, and lists the Cuban great Teofilo Stevenson and Felix Savon as some of his biggest influences in the sport. Gonzalez is a boxer-puncher, possessing thudding power and an excellent ring IQ. I'm very excited to sign with Split T Management, he says. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Under Split T, I feel I'll be able to reach all my goals and become a world champion. Elsewhere, we see unbeaten heavyweight Jeremiah Dreamman Milton has signed an exclusive promotional contract with Holden Promotions. And this interesting tidbit comes up later in another story. Born and raised in Tulsa, the 27-year-old Milton is 3-0 with 3 knockouts as a pro. As an amateur, he was ranked among the top heavyweights in America and won a silver medal at the 2020 Olympic trials. Prior to boxing, he played defensive end at Division II Northeastern State University. Milton, who is on 6'4", 230 pounds, is an explosive puncher with impressive athleticism. He says, Holden Promotions has been doing great things for fighters in multiple weight classes. I'm glad to be joining a successful team based out of my hometown, and we're going to put the world on notice. Having promoted fights and fighters across the globe, including both Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley fights this past year, Holden Productions is thrilled about signing a talented heavyweight with ties to their home base. In other news, Salita Promotions proudly announces the signing of Grand Rapids, Michigan-based 2021 USA National Amateur Welterweight Champion Joshua Double J Pagan to a promotional contract. After starting boxing at age 13 in honor of his trainer and father, Tony, who also boxed. Pagan had approximately 90 fights as an amateur, culminating in winning 3 state Golden Gloves championships and this year's USA National Championships, which were held in Shreveport, Louisiana. A smooth boxer with a mean streak, 21-year-old Pagan will make his professional debut on Saturday, January 22nd, 2022, in the Lincoln Ballroom of the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center in Dearborn, Michigan. In other fight news, we see that Ilunga Makabu is going up against Tebiso Machuna. This will take place at WD Packard Music Hall in Ohio on the 29th of January 2022. Congolese Ilunga Makabu will defend his WBC cruiserweight belt against mandatory challenger South African Tebiso Machuna on January 29th. This will be an action-packed clash for the WBC championship with a great fight on the horizon for the winner, said Don King, the promoter of the event. Machuna vows he's ready to challenge Makabu for the cruiserweight belt since the WBC ordered in its 59th convention that the winner of the fight will face the super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez, and that's probably in May. The WBC cruiserweight champion since January 2020, Makabu, who's 34 years old, has a professional record of 28 wins and 25 knockouts and 2 losses, while his challenger Machuna has a record of 23 wins with 13 knockouts and 5 losses. Elsewhere, Mexican action star Rene El Bravo Tellez Giron will meet Puerto Rican upstart Luis Melendez in a 10-round junior lightweight showdown on Saturday, January 29th at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Tulsa. Giron Melendez will serve as the co-feature of the 10-round WBC junior lightweight title eliminator between former title challenger Robson Cancheo and undefeated contender Javier Martinez. Both bouts will air live on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. The undercard will include the return of undefeated middleweight prospect Nico Ali Walsh, who's 3-0 with 2 knockouts, who is, as we know, the grandson of Muhammad Ali, in a 4-round bout. Ali Walsh made his professional debut last August with a first-round stoppage, again at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Tulsa. Tulsa-born heavyweight prospect, mentioned earlier, Jeremiah Milton, who's 3-0, will see action on the undercard in a 6-rounder. Giron, who's 16-1 with 10 knockouts, who's 22 years old, is a rising star out of Mexico, emerged from relative obscurity with his December 2019 knockout victory over then unbeaten 2016 Olympian Carlos Balderas. He has won 2 fights since the Balderas triumph, including a 7-round knockout over Eduardo Garza last September on the Oscar Valdez Constitutional fight in Tucson, Arizona. Melendez, who's 17-1 with 13 knockouts and the winner of 15 straight fights since a controversial split decision loss, had a busy 2021 also. He picked up 7 victories in 3 months in Colombia, then returned to the States with a flourish. Melendez won an 8-round decision over Thomas Matisse at Virgin Hotels, Las Vegas last November, a career best victory that earned him the co-feature slot against Giron. Down under, we see that Australia's 2 undefeated heavyweight champions, Joe Goodall and Justis Huni, will face off in a highly anticipated showdown in Brisbane on February 4th. Huni, who's 5-0, the Australian national title holder since 2020, will challenge unbeaten WBC Australasia champion Joe Goodall, who's 7-0-1. Goodall, who's 28 years old, has spent the past 6 months in Las Vegas, Nevada, sparring some of the best American heavyweights under the watchful eyes of Taylor Barry, who's in the corner of WBC World Heavyweight multi-titleist Tyson Fury. Both Goodall and Huni had brilliant amateur careers representing Australia in international events. Goodall, known for his hard punches, had 2 years off boxing for shoulder surgery and had a full recovery, winning the Australasia title with an early round TKO decision against Samoan Herman Purcell. "My shoulder is good," he said. "I have full power. I'm ready to go to the next level." Goodall will return to Australia 2 weeks ahead of his showdown with the younger Huni, who's 22, hardened by a training program designed to ensure that he can go the full distance if necessary. Not to be outdone, Huni has flown to USA where he's training under Manny Pacquiao's trainer of 2 decades, Justin Fortune, who's been tasked with supplying a bevy of hardened sparring partners. The stakes for both fighters couldn't be higher. A win for Goodall will cement his reputation of a genuine heavyweight contender. A Huni win will see him rise up in the world of rankings. Huni says he's been inspired by George Kambosos Jr., who became the undisputed champion by defeating Teofimo Lopez. When all the odds were against him, George backed himself. You definitely need to believe in yourself, he said. Finally, we got some news out of the UK. The undisputed super lightweight champion of Britain, Josh Taylor, plans to move up to 147 pounds after demonstrating his greatness in the super lightweight division thanks to memorable victories over Regis Prograis, Victor Prostal, and Jose Ramirez. The great Scot will defend his 4 world titles against Jack Catterall in February. If the 31-year-old boxer emerges victorious from that challenge, several attractive opponents await for him at 147 pounds. Terence Crawford, Yordenis Ugas, and Errol Spence are the current dominant fighters at welterweight, and Taylor has a desire to prove himself there in the near future. He says, I'd like to go up to 147 and become a 2-weight world champion. Chase some of those big, massive fights. That's what I want to do. Hopefully, I'll become undisputed welterweight world champion in the near future. This is one of my goals for 2022. It's definitely something very possible. Right there, boxing fans. Thanks very much for joining me again. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And we'll see you again tomorrow here on Talkin' Fight.